The story of life began with the first I am presence stepping forth and proclaiming I am. But as you know, that was a very long time ago. And the record written in the annals of time of the earth has long ago lost the story. Many have conjured what they thought according to the perception of their mind in the time in which they lived. But as you know, not only I, the Maha Chohan, but many other ascended masters that have preceded this era and gone on into the ascension have written many stories, many veiled in the time so that they could release the mysteries to the greatest extent the law would allow, given the attainment and, yes, the consciousness of the sons and daughters of God that would receive it. You are blessed beyond all measure, for the truth of the law, having been revealed to you in such specificity as to give you every nuance required for your own victory and for the victory of the earth, to come into a golden age. These stories of old have known many victories as well as many failures. But we will not stress in this moment the failures, but the victories. For is that not what your own God presence demands of you each day? Though you may be aware of circumstances in your life, and yea, even those of the entirety of the world that are in peril, in much need, your presence desires for you, demands of you, to focus your attention first and foremost upon the heart of God, that very God that is the source of your own sustenance of life. Then you are prepared to deal first and foremost with the disciplining of your own vehicles of consciousness, with their nourishment of the truth of the law, as the engrams and patterns of perfection are transferred increment by increment, law by law, teaching by teaching, into the very fabric of your being, so that when you are called upon to stand in the face of unspeakable opposition, it matters not, for you are prepared. For where stands the light of God, No amount of peril can cause you harm. Perhaps this seems quite difficult for your outer consciousness to accept. But think for a moment. What is this outer life? But a vehicle with which you traverse through time and space as the consciousness of the mind of God. At least this is the desire of your God presence. What are the deeds that you are to accomplish, if not the creativity of your own God presence into this world of form? What of your brothers and sisters on the path of their own sojourn through life? What is your relationship to them, if not to love the flame of God that burns upon the altar of their heart? And when that love is given unconditionally, is it not the desire of God that you would serve that flame, that you would give of all that you are, all that you would ever hope to be, to see that every brother and sister of light upon the earth is blessed by the hand of God? Now it is nigh impossible for one life stream to physically touch or to converse with words every life stream upon the planet. To do so, one must elevate their consciousness into the Holy of Holies, donning the garment of their own Christhood and allowing for their voice to carry through the vehicle of their own God presence, streaming forth the light of the rays of God consciousness in all of the varied qualities that God can assist and create with, touching the very flame upon the altar of their heart, consuming the very necessity that opposes their life and giving them surcease for a time, while they learn and expand their own wisdom to fulfill those necessities of the law for themselves. Breaking up the patterns of unreality is easy for the mighty I Am Presence. For there is the understanding of the workings of the law of love that can penetrate and, yes, annihilate all that is unlike the patterns of God identity in the energy plaguing so many innocent and holy life streams that know not how to invoke the flame of God for themselves? And what of the creative patterns of the emerald ray, which you have begun to be aware how to call into your own life, to expand and multiply? Every erg of energy that is transferred into these vehicles you wear by the mighty I Am Presence. How will these, who are the precious heart flames of God, that know not how to call forth the emerald matrix, learn to expand the flame of God, the Christic fire, the patterns of perfection? You, blessed hearts, will call forth illumination, reinforced by the emerald matrix of your own attainment in the causal body, and sent forth by the electronic body of your own mighty I Am Presence, as well as those ascended and cosmic beings that serve to assist on that God quality, establishing momentums that will not be denied, and thus breaking through the veils of Maya and illusion that cloud the perception, that have encrusted the very heart, and must be broken through by the piercing arrows of the ruby ray and the Christic fire of the emerald matrix. These life streams depend upon you. You who know, you who have readied your vehicles to receive this teaching. Do not be so foolish as to think this is the first incarnation whereby you have had knowledge of something of the nature of God beyond the perception of the mass consciousness. For many of you have striven long. You have been among those who have denied the light of God and determined to be a law unto themselves, watching painfully as you were obliged to step aside, for there was not at that moment in your attainment the ability to turn the tide of what was very evident to your own awareness. Now it is different. You have come of age. You have had a recognition within your own heart flame of the love of your own God presence. You have felt coursing through your vehicles the light that would displace those moments of travail and testing in your own life. You have had revealed within your own consciousness those things of your own life that were out of alignment with the virtues of the Christ or the qualities inherent within your own God presence. And you have striven long to put them into the violet flame, so that they would no longer be present, reverberating in your own vehicles, to stop the flow of your own God presence. Blessed hearts, you are the mighty I Am Presence. In the physical, the emotional, the mental, the memory, Akasha. For the flame of God upon the altar of your heart resides as a vehicle of perfection, of a threefold action of God that can work through each of those vehicles, knitting them together, establishing enough of the presence of God to make a difference, first in your own life, and then to assist in making a difference for all. This ceases to occur when you lose sight of the purpose of life, when you begin to entertain doubt, despair, any form of human questioning, instead of listening to what you know so well as the flame in your heart. You have heard, and I will repeat, this flame will never lie to you. Though the voices of your outer vehicles in these lower planes may indeed conjure all manner of excuse, lie, or form of deception to keep you from taking God dominion over those vehicles. This heart flame that is the heart of God has always been with you. This is the heart that has kept you tethered lifetime after lifetime to the steady acceleration of your own attainment. It is the rock upon which you may build your foundation. But if you are electing the foundation of any of the outer vehicles, as they exist absent the flame of God coursing through them, establishing patterns of perfection, then you will be sadly disappointed at the close of this incarnation, as you have revealed to you this life. And as the screen plays for you the rehearsal of all of the deeds, both good and bad, as well as missed opportunity. You will vow once more to go back, try again. For you are sure now that you will hold fast to the law of life as you know it oh so well when you are standing before the Lords of Karma with your life review. It is not enough to merely come into embodiment, having made that proclamation, and think that you will merely coast through that embodiment, that you will always make the right decision. You will always turn toward your own God presence. You will always have at your right hand that Christ virtue ready to respond in every case. But we did say we were going to talk about the victories. How do you suppose you are within the sound of my voice this very day? Is it not because you have followed the flame upon the altar of your heart, recognizing the inner calling to make a difference, to stay the course, so that you might have a greater mastery and be filled more with the presence of God? That statement, blessed hearts, could be applied to any religious pursuit. For is that not the preamble to every major religion of the world? For all desire to be filled with the light of God, to do good, to do no harm to others, and to have the presence of mind to always know the difference. What makes the difference in your case is that you truly know the working of your own God presence in your life. You have observed the patterns of God identity when they have banished unreality once and for all by the fires of transmutation in your own life. You have discovered the difference in guarding your consciousness from being filled with the degradations of God, allowing you to more easily look at your own life as an opportunity of Christhood. You have discovered that in loving unconditionally, the flow of love from your own God presence never ceases. And at every turn, you have the capability of focusing that love, regardless of the treatment that you receive, rather in reality or seemingly received. For many times, blessed hearts, what you receive is not harmful at all. Quite on the contrary, it is a lesson. It is an opportunity. And if your perception is to run and hide or to retaliate to that energy or that opportunity, you will miss the lesson entirely. For you will not have understood how to garner the light of your own God presence. And standing in that light, say the right thing or not say anything at all. Act correctly or stand immovable. Change your direction or stay on course. There are many occasions that either would be correct, but the discerning faculty of your own mind must be illumined by the mind of God to always know the subtle differences. You, however, have recognized the vibration of the ascended and cosmic beings, for you strive mightily to be in their presence when they release their teaching and instruction and, yes, the fires of their heart, their momentum, so that you might receive the blessing to assist you in your own mastery. Many of you will make your ascension, not necessarily requiring other embodiments, because you are electing to make a difference for the earth. It is oh so easy to go off, become an island to oneself, wrapping around your vehicles of consciousness a cloak of invisibility, and focusing all of your attention upon the presence of God, and thinking that you are benefiting all of God's kingdom. But I stand to tell you, the greatest service to God in life is to stand in the full presence of the light of your God presence, holding fast with every erg of energy that you are capable of mustering, and calling forth that light, working with the brothers and sisters of light, collectively standing as the front line on the battlefield of life, to allow God to reverberate through each of the planes of consciousness, because you have learned how to master and discipline your own vehicles of consciousness, so that the threefold flame of the heart of God can flourish and be magnified through those vehicles into the planes of consciousness, thereby bringing benefit to all. Surely you could argue, as many have, that this could be accomplished singularly on that mountain top by yourself. But have you forgotten the law of multiplication, and how, when you collectively join together, giving the calls to the heart of God, fashioning and creating opportunity for other sons and daughters of God to know what you know, breaking the bread of life to be disseminated across the earth, and establishing a cup of the elixir of life to share with all, that holy communion will draw more into the acceleration of God upon the earth, and bring you greater mastery than any singular event that may have occurred on your mountaintop experience. And who's to say that there would be clarity in your consciousness? For are you not reminded of how the vibration of your own Holy Christ presence moves daily in your own life when you come into the proximity of others who are not moving in that vibration? Does this not reinforce your determination, your clarity, your strength, as you etch in your own conscious awareness the reality of God in your life? So rather than crying the woes of all that is evil moving in the earth, let your cry be the Fohat of Light, as you enter into the communion with your God presence in decree, affirmation, song that draws the light of God into the fabric of life for all. I, the Maha Chohan, am constantly breathing my awareness and momentum of God into each of the planes of God consciousness. This is the breath of life that all perceive when that first breath of the newborn is taken. But by no means is that the beginning of life. For the story continues, as it has since that first I am presence proclaimed, the God awareness of self. What will be the story that will be written of you? Will it tell of the time when you received much and failed? Or will it be the example for ages to follow of the victory, of the ascension in the light of the many? Be sealed in that perfection of cosmic law as it is decreed. For that is the pattern that we, the ascended and cosmic beings, hold for you.